for repairs as a reason for the closure. News and analysis at townhall.com. A recovering American.
For many years, the Pine Box has been helping families gain insight into the often confusing and extremely expensive task of arranging a loved one's funeral. I have worked with Pine Box in the death of 2 family members because I know I can trust Chip Beresford at the Pine Box, he's the owner, to be sure that he walks me through that process and that I am prepared for the funeral and that I get the quality I seek without breaking the budget, because it's a very difficult thing. No one wants to feel like a cheapskate handling a funeral of a loved one, but you also can't afford to go broke either. You know, funerals are statistically the 3rd largest expense in someone's life. The Pine Box sells the same caskets and funeral merchandise that is offered at funeral homes, but at a tremendous savings, and delivery is immediate and free within the Houston area. Visit their website, thepinebox.com, or call Chip directly at 1-888-PINE-BOX. That's 1-888-PINE-BOX. I trusted them, and you can. The Pine Box.
This is Kevin O'Hara with O'Hara & Company Real Estate. Our country's founding fathers drafted a document that is the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their powers from the consent of the governed. My friends at O'Hara & Company Real Estate, we believe we're at a precipice in time where we must take back our country. We must stand up for our freedoms or lose them forever. Please don't sit idle and let it slip away. Don't let anyone force you to do something you choose not to. As JFK said, if not us, who? If not now, when? If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, give O'Hara & Company Real Estate a call at 281-373-3393, 281-373-3393, or look us up on the web at o'harare.com. I'm Kevin O'Hara. God bless America, and God bless Texas.
Where should I begin?
Can we talk about this?
Say, what are you trying to say?
Beyond the usual controversial talk.
Blah, 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 on and on and on.
Over there.
One, two, cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha.
Prepare yourself.
Okay.
For Craig.
Okay.
Preparing a mighty new spectacle here.
Articulate. Stimulating. Hit you right in the... there you go.
We start becoming a team right now.
This is the Craig Collins Show.
Lord Jesus. Oh, God, no.
Start talking. Talk fast.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Now your host.
He's a good man.
Craig.
Yeah, baby. It is the Craig Collins Show. KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas. Thrilled to be with you. A lot of stuff out there for us to talk about. Let's do a lot of different things. However, I can't help but want to start with the conversation going on once again in the world of digital media people. It's so funny. I launched this show a week ago right here at KSEV, KGBC, and the goal of it was to bring you conversations that are not in mainstream media. The goal of it was to try to pull, and I think I even named Megyn Kelly as one of the people that I'd pull audio from kind of consistently, whether it's stuff I agree with, stuff I disagree with. That part didn't matter. I just wanted to bring on some of these conversations you're not hearing that much, and now they're all over media, mostly because of what some describe as infighting within MAGA or within conservative movements, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, the President of the United States has weighed in. This was yesterday, I think, at about 9:30 at night. He put out a post about Mark Levin. And if you don't know anything about this, I will tell you a very brief, small amount of what's going on. So Megyn Kelly among them, Tucker Carlson, another name that's been doing this a lot that you would know. There's a lot of names you probably don't know who are doing this too. They're crapping on people like Mark. They're saying that Mark is siding with Trump about the Iran war, that this is terrible and bad, and somehow, all these other things, that essentially they're all paid spokespeople for Israel, or they're all neocons, which I'll get into in a second. I don't agree with a lot of that. I agree that people like Mark Levin are, by and large, saying something for a reason I also agree with, like a thing I believe to be the value of the Iran conflict, the Iran fight. And it's not that you're paid by any Israeli organization. I am not. It's not that you're trying to be a neocon, which to me is an insane word to use in this context. because if you don't know what that means, and I assume most of the audience does, it's that I'd prefer the United States to proactively get involved in everything everywhere. I want them to be the world police. That doesn't mean that any one fight is equivalent to wanting them to be involved in every fight everywhere, us to be involved in every fight everywhere. So that's insane. But these extreme versions of conversation, it's the only way that people talk now. A lot of people think they're intelligent because they'll say, you're a neocon, or Trump is a neocon, or whoever it is, and they don't even really care if they're actually using something correctly or not. That's not the point. The point is to try to garner support on your side of whatever the fight is, and there's a very specific internal fight going on within the MAGA movement. So again, I've prefaced this enough. I want to read what Trump put up on Truth Social. This got covered everywhere. It got covered in all the typical news spots that you'd hear political news. It also got covered in more liberal media outlets that don't like to talk about this stuff. But here's what the president said. Mark Levin, a true great American patriot, is somewhat under siege by other people with far less intellect, capability, and love for our country. Mark is tough, strong, brilliant, hence the nickname The Great One, conceived by our MAGA friend, the wonderful Sean Hannity. After years of dealing with Mark in legal, media, and other capacities, Mark would often do Sean's show, speaking as a lawyer, and Sean realized then, as did others, that he was special. Mark was not looking to do radio, television, anything else, but he was drafted by very smart people who understood there are few like him. He is a true conservative and an elect, far smarter than those who criticize him. Above all, he is a man of great wisdom and common sense who truly loves our country. When you hear others unfairly attack Mark, remember that they are jealous and angry human beings whose sway is much less than the public understands, and will now that they know where I stand, rapidly diminish. Essentially saying that when Trump comes out with this fiery of a message of support, some of these MAGA, so-called MAGA people will go away. Other than for his wonderful wife and family, Mark Levin only cares about one thing: greatness and success for America. Those that speak ill of him will quickly fall by the wayside, as do the people whose ideas, policies, and footings are not sound. They are not MAGA. This was the most interesting part of this post to me. Trump says they are not MAGA. The people who criticize the fight with Iran, the people who criticize Mark Levin, the people who criticize Sean Hannity, this is the president speaking. Shoot the messenger all you want in me, but he says they are not MAGA. And here's what's funny about that. He goes on to say, I am. And MAGA includes not allowing Iran, a sick, demented, and violent terrorist regime, to have a nuclear weapon to blow up the United States of America, the Middle East, and ultimately the rest of the world. Here's the thing that matters most about this. Trump is definitely MAGA. You can't take that away from him. He coined the phrase. He created the thing. So if you yourself want to consider yourself part of the MAGA movement, which I think a lot of the people who criticize Mark Levin right now, they don't want that label anyway. They don't care about that label, which is interesting. But if you want it, you do have to get it from Trump. And if Trump says you no longer deserve it, then you can't keep claiming that you are a supporter of his, because you're obviously not a supporter of this. MAGA is about stopping them cold. This is Trump continuing. And that is exactly what we are doing. God bless our great military. This is in all caps, which I have rebuilt since the beginning of my first term to achieve everlasting peace through strength. Make America great again. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. He did also say some things in an interview that I'll get to after the first break. I did love a couple of the things he joked about. He made fun of the throne in Iran, by the way. He said it's not really a throne. He likes a throne more like the one in the UK. He doesn't like the one, it's a fancy chair. I thought that was hilarious. But here's the point of all this. Here's the reason to open the show and talk about this and the infighting that you may or may not care about. I think a whole lot of people who don't pay attention to any of this simply do not care. They don't care if Megyn Kelly or Tucker Carlson or whoever these names are on the in or the outs right now with Trump. If you pay attention to these people specifically, you probably care. But by and large, if you're not paying attention to them, you live your life. It doesn't matter to you. And here's what's so funny, though. And here's the thing I keep thinking about as I wanted to talk about stuff like this that was supposed to be off the beaten path, but now isn't really off the beaten path. The infighting is not good. I think Dan Bongino has said that. I have some more audio of that because the infighting allows the people who do follow these individuals to think the enemy is me, or the enemy is someone who voted for the same person that they voted for to put into the White House in the first place. And I can't get over how much of a mistake that is. And honestly, I'll say it this way. It makes sense to me that this is the game that's being played. The PSYOP is what I like to call these things, and a lot of other people call it that too. Because look at what the Democratic mission statement is. The Democrats right now want to convince their voters that the other side of the aisle, not the politicians, the everyday people, are the enemy. That you need to hate them. You need to attack them. You need to be mad at them for their beliefs. And this would be us, by the way, the things that we think and say and the people that we vote for. The Oscars were last night. I did not watch. I very much enjoyed the World Baseball Classic instead. But I will tell you that a lot of the clips I saw online, there was a bunch of bashing of the political system. There's actually a clip of Jimmy Kimmel, which this doesn't seem to be at the Oscars itself. I think this was like a Vanity Fair after party, where he's asked the question, and maybe I'll play that audio actually. He's asked a question of, how stressed are you? How terrible are you right now? How awful is society and your job? And I love that they always call it that, of having to, check the president on a daily basis. And Kimmel plays along. He acts like he's actually upset in the world in which he currently lives, even though it couldn't be further from the truth. And yeah, here, okay, I'll play this audio because this is the point. This is what people want in those positions that want to undermine the president in office right now, diminish his support, get people to turn away from him, whoever those people are, whether it's the crazy people that have hated him all along or anyone else. They want you to believe this narrative, that life's terrible, that everything's awful, that it's all stress. Every day you wake up, you're like, what terrible news is coming today? And it's so far from our actual day-to-day experience that it's ridiculous. But here, this is Jimmy Kimmel being asked an incredibly dumb question and then giving an incredibly stupid answer to an incredibly dumb question and making me just all shades of angry as I listen to this. Here we go.
Are you exhausted?
Am I exhausted?
By the state of the world and knowing every night you've got to say something.
You see me looking in my face and you're exhausted.
No, but I mean,
yes, I'm exhausted. Of course,
Please.
It's ridiculous. We live in a ridiculous country. We always lived in a ridiculous country, but it was always ridiculous in a fun Mr. T kind of way.
Right.
Now we've got a different Mr. T. Yeah.
Mr. T, wow, I didn't think of it.
I love how they pretend that was a good joke. That was a terrible joke. Jimmy Kimmel does not have to be a television host. It's not like he signed up for the military and he's fighting to protect our country. But that's how these liberal morons act. They act like they're on God's mission, or they've been given, this set of marching orders that they need to follow because they're the one that's waking up society to the terrible things that they think are going on. Essentially, they're arrogant, pompous pieces of, I can't say that last word, although I'd like to. And this is the greatest version of it, because Kimmel, by and large, enjoys attention, obviously, as many people in his world do. And he thinks he gets more attention when Trump is in office. So they love it. They love this version of a discussion and trying to convince people that things are bad when you've barely noticed any of the things they say are bad. The only thing you've noticed is that gas prices have gotten worse, that they were really good, and Trump was delivering on a promise he made when he ran for office, and now they're not that great. They're not as bad as they were when Biden was at his height of terribleness, but they're not going in a great direction. But let's see how long that lasts. Drill, baby, drill is still a thing. There's still a lot of ways for you to feel as though outside of gas prices, what's happening in Iran might not be as bad as you think it is. It's just crazy to me. I hate all these pseudo-intellectuals who talk about this stuff too, who pretend as though the things that they think and say are somehow profoundly deep or well thought out or well researched, when by and large, I think these people are looking this stuff up right before they're turning on their cameras. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, let me pretend I've known this stat or this piece of historical information all along. It'll help me a whole lot to pretend as though I've known this and to pretend as though other people think this too. It's so annoying is the best way to say it. And so we will see what happens. But the infighting that has been widely covered by mainstream media because they want it to get worse, not better. Essentially, they're cheering for chaos, the way that China cheers for chaos here in the United States, and then they try to facilitate it through things like TikTok. They want you to hate other people because they want chaos to reign supreme. The Democrats wanted things to go bad in places like Minnesota so they could attack President Trump. And this is just the latest version of that. And the people who are falling victim to this narrative are sort of surprising. People like Tucker Carlson are saying and doing things where, by and large, I think their opinion is meaningless. And I like Tucker. I want to say that out of this segment before I take a break. I want to make sure you know I like him. I think that there's a lot of things he says and does that I still don't get mad about. There's some things he does where people accuse him of platforming someone, and I like Tucker's answer. He's like, I don't platform anybody. These people are already relevant. I choose to interview them. I like that. I don't love when he chooses not to challenge some things that I think he should challenge. But by and large, I don't think that he's doing this out of any version of doing this being so anti the war in Iran, because he's trying to harm the conservative movement or the conservative party. He's trying to be the voice of it. There's a lot of people trying to climb to the top of the hill right now, in my opinion. People like Megyn Kelly, too. They want to be the most relevant voice on this side of the political aisle. That's the whole reason they're doing what they're doing. Candace Owens is among those people, too. She just wants as much attention as possible. And honestly, when you have a lot of influencers, people who are by and large the loudest voices, the most listened to voices within a party, and all of them are online and not a lot of them are on mainstream media of any kind, the negative there, if there is a negative, because there's a lot of positives to independent media, the negative is their need to keep getting eyeballs. And so people, especially like Candace Owens, do whatever it takes to get more attention, get more ears, more eyeballs. They might not like her. That doesn't matter. She's playing a numbers game. She's doing the Howard Stern version of political radio, where the crazier, more insane things you say. And actually, I'm going to take a break, and we'll come back to a clip from Andrew Schultz, of all people. Andrew Schultz, in an interview a while ago, said that the game on social media right now is to be as provocative as possible, because that gets you out of your lane, that gets you out of the eyeballs that are seeing you all the time, and it gets you into the places where people aren't seeing you. It gives you more exposure to be nuts, to be so crazy that you get shared a bunch of other places and other people take what you're saying and run with it. That seems to be the goal for a lot of these individuals right now. Essentially and occasionally go above and beyond in the world of your own crazy so that you get more people listening to you, and then you can reel it back in. It's crazy in an interview or crazy over here, and then let's get it back. And that's not great as far as valuable conversations go. But all right, we'll take a break. A lot coming up. Thrilled to be with you every single day, all the time. And crazy that so many conversations are now essentially the same as what I thought they wouldn't be on the show, meaning I thought we wouldn't be talking about the mainstream discussion stuff, but this stuff has somehow become mainstream in that amount of time. But quick break, a lot more. The Craig Collins Show, KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas.
Spring deals are popping up early at Lowe's. Right now, get 4 bags of Stay Green 2 cubic foot mulch for just $10. Plus, save $20 on an Ego 56-volt string trimmer, now just $199. Spring starts better when you save early. Don't miss out. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 3/18. Mulch offer excludes Hawaii. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
Everyone knows the BBB is the Better Business Bureau, but depending on what you need, it's the Better Plumber Bureau, the Better Auto Mechanic Bureau, the Better Accountant Bureau. That's because the BBB connects people with businesses they can trust. So think of the BBB as the better check that business out first so you don't get ripped off bureau. Be smart. Always look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Plumbing emergencies never happen at a convenient time. Usually they happen on the weekends, holidays, or while you're away on vacation. I'm Richard Sod, president of Nick's Plumbing. When you find yourself facing a plumbing emergency, call the licensed and experienced professionals at Nick's Plumbing and Sewer Services. Nick's Plumbing has been Houston's first choice for all your plumbing needs since 1979. Our experts can take your most difficult plumbing issues and fix them fast, fix them right, and usually for less than you'd expect. Nick's Plumbing and Sewer Services is the right choice for any plumbing job, from a leaky faucet, whole house repipe, or a complete sewer line replacement. You can count on Nick's Plumbing to do the job right. With over 40 years in business and over 150,000 satisfied customers, Nix wants to be your plumbing company. Nix Plumbing offers free estimates and free second opinions. Call Nix Plumbing and Sewer Services, 713-868-9907, or visit us on the web, nixplumbing.com.
MPL 38548.
Call Nix Plumbing today. We're on the way.
That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
Match is back here in the Mac Z-Cliner. I'm recovering from surgery thanks in large part to this miracle chair, the Mac Z-Cliner. You can sit in it, you can recline in it, you can watch TV in it, you can eat in it, you can sleep in it. It goes to zero gravity position. The Mac Z-Cliner helped me recover. It also has heat and massage, a place to charge your cell phone. Come out to Gallery Furniture, buy a Mac Z-Cliner before your surgery. Gallery Furniture delivers tonight, or after your surgery, Gallery Furniture delivers tonight, and you'll sit and sleep great tonight.
All right, this is the Craig Collins Show, KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas. For some reason, this audio is not playing of Andrew Schultz. Let me try to play it over
right
here.
Now,
there
we
go.
live in 1,000 different realities because we went from fan clubs, which is like Instagram, right, to TikTok. TikTok drives culture, whether you like it or not, and TikTok is pure algorithm, right? What they did is they realized people actually don't want to follow their friends. They want us to feed them the most interesting thing. And interesting could be low-hanging fruit. It could be chaos, fights. Clickable, right?
That is the voice of Ben Shapiro.
Once that happened, it divided us into 1,000 different silos. Those silos that you're now in are getting less views, right? So people start going, oh, shoot, my views are going away. Well, what do I do to get more views? Ratchet up the dialogue, ratchet up the rhetoric, and now you're saying the most insane stuff because only the most insane stuff crosses over completely.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, by the way. I wholeheartedly agree with this. I think that there are people who are well-intentioned. So I don't think you can paint with a broad brush on everything that you talk about. So the first objection that someone might have to this discussion is, not everybody does that. And of course, not everybody does everything that we discuss. But by and large, especially these bigger, almost brand name people that are predominantly just online individuals now, they need to do this. They need to do this to remain relevant. The thing about Megyn Kelly right now is that she's, for some reason, the face of the anti-Iran discussion. Her, Tucker Carlson. There's a lot of other voices out there in the world of the internet and whatnot that are saying the same thing. We have callers calling into the station that say that same thing. So they're not alone. But they certainly benefit from being the faces of this because it gets them more attention. And so I think this thing just continues to spiral. We're going to see more and more of the same in this world and in this discussion point because of the successful nature of it. The amount of people who can get beyond whatever wall might be put up for them. You know what's interesting about this? I'll tell you, this is inside baseball a bit, but I find it fascinating. I joined this station 6 months ago. I joined in October. One of the first things I was talking about when I got here was the need for more social media, just because everybody else is doing it. All the other media companies out there right now, like any relevant radio station in the country is probably live streaming their content to a bunch of different social media places. And one of the objections I got, I don't want to say who it's from, but some of the people internally are like, that stuff is going to push us down. That stuff is going to devalue our content. And there's certain platforms that absolutely do that definitely do that. But it's so intriguing to think that in the world we live right now, most of these media companies, radio stations, whoever, they don't think the radio is enough. They don't think television is enough. They don't think this platform is enough. They think the only platforms that really work, the only platforms that are really valuable are all of them all at once. And they're right about that to a degree. And I'll say this, people go to their most trusted platform for their information, whatever they like. I know a lot of people will go to X now, to Twitter, because it has been changed profoundly from what it was, from how one-sided that conversation was to be a very different one now. But you go to whatever platform you choose, you like, you think you can trust, because the other thing is a whole lot of people don't trust almost all the platforms now. Pretty much everything out there, there's a reason not to trust it. There's a reason to think that it's terrible and awful and really not valuable to you or me or anyone, especially things like television. So in that case, in that world, I think that you even more shy away to your own thing. This is even true of stuff like sports. You know what's funny about this? I'll say one other thing about this rant, and then we are going to move on, because I did really enjoy some audio from President Trump. This is certainly mainstream audio. It's not necessarily just internet stuff that's out there, but it's just so good. When Trump makes fun of the throne that's in Iran, he doesn't really think it's a throne, but more of a fancy chair. That kind of stuff has to be played. You gotta have that discussion. But nonetheless, and this is kind of why I wanted to talk about this topic at all, and talk about all the different platforms that you can find us on. You can find KSEV Radio right now on Rumble, on YouTube. I live stream to those. My own Twitter page, at Radio Craig C. I live stream every single show to that page. I don't live stream every day to Facebook, mostly because I think that platform is better used on the occasional post, not a bunch of posts every single day. But also, it's one of the ones that's going to push me down the most, that's going to try to ignore my content the most. But the reason I say all this is because I think once people do find their trusted voice, whoever it is, and the voice of Texas, I think has been a trusted voice for a lot of people within this community for a long time. Once you find it, you stay. And so the goal is just to get you to see the thing that we think you actually will agree with and like, and you'd want to be more of a fan of. So that's the whole mission statement, to say the very least. And I think it's going to have a lot of success eventually. I think that it's a time game. It's a time thing for any of that stuff, and a money game a lot too. But this is where I'll just say this last thing to close this topic before I move on. Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly even play by the same rules. They play by the same rules of, we only want to spend so much money trying to promote our content to people who aren't seeing it. So another way to do that is to just garner attention through saying crazy stuff or saying stuff that they believe. I'm not saying they don't believe these things they're saying, but they know they're controversial. So they hark on them more than talking about some of the stuff that is going well. I'll say it this way. I meant to be done, but I'm not. I'll say it this way. When I wake up in the morning, I don't think our society is in madness. And if I were paying attention to liberal media, if I were paying attention to Hollywood talking heads, and if I were paying attention to some of the marquee voices on the right, you think the world we live in is madness. And it just doesn't feel that way to me. I wonder if it feels that way to you. You can call in and be a part of the show if you want to. I say that I take calls. I almost never pay attention to them. I promise I'll get better at that as we go. We're week 2. We're figuring this out. But I'll try. I'll try to take phone calls so you can call in, be a part of the show. All right, I do want to play this. I thought this was so funny. This is President Trump crapping all over the throne that he thinks is more of a fancy chair that exists for the Ayatollah. And this is the kind of stuff, like, if I were to play any piece of audio today to convince you that mainstream media will ignore something that's genuinely funny that Trump says or does, that liberal media will try to find a way to crap all over it, which is most of mainstream media anyway, and some of the right will actually just celebrate and enjoy this, it's because of how great this is. This is our president who is currently fighting another country with a whole bunch of horrible people who want death to America all the time, crapping all over their chair that they sit in. And I just think it's wonderful.
Would sit and he'd spew hate from a form of a throne. Not as nice as a throne. I like the English throne much better. But it was a fancy chair. But he'd spew hate from his chair.
I love that so much. This is the way that our current president watches this stuff. He's sitting there watching some, foreign leader say horrible stuff about our country, sitting probably around military men and women, and he's looking at it and he goes, that chair is terrible. That chair sucks. That chair is awful. It's really not a throne at all. That's how little he's afraid of these people, of these other countries, and the things they say or the ways they want to attack us. And I find that to be fantastic. I think that's the kind of thing we need to celebrate more in our society. By the way, I do have Megyn Kelly audio. I do have Megyn Kelly audio that I do want to play that's within the world of the Mark Levin, Megyn Kelly drama that's out there. I took so long talking about that topic, I'm not sure if I'll get to it today or if I'll get back to it tomorrow. I have some Dan Bongino audio that I want to get to that's not about any of this, but I currently continue to find interest in the things Dan Bongino has been saying in his podcast that is back. And before I take a break, I'm going to take another break. I do want to say this about Bongino specifically. Talk about how fascinating it is to watch someone work directly with this current administration and then go back into the world of being a media personality, a pundit, a podcaster, or whatever you want to call him in today's society, and having an insight that's so different than the rest of us. And I know that you might think that he's just marching orders, just being told what to do. I don't get the sense that that's ever been Bongino's thing. I don't think he's ever done or said anything that he himself didn't actually believe. But his level of confidence in the current administration and his level of crapping all over the people who are attacking it, it's fascinating to watch because nobody was closer than him in media right now for a year. No one had a easier time accessing the actual things going on than that individual. So his confidence says something about how a lot of us maybe should feel about what's going on in D.C., what's going on with the current commander-in-chief, and how he's handling life day to day in the White House, elected by us again, the majority of us. I just find this so fascinating that we're somehow in this place of debating the good and bad of what's going on here. All right, quick break, a lot more. This is the Craig Collins Show, KSEV, KGBC, 6 to 7 o'clock every single day, live on the radio, live on Twitter at Radio Craig C, live on Facebook, live on YouTube and Rumble at KSEV Radio. Quick break and a lot more in a bit.
You know, where we go in life matters, and what we do matters, and we know that taking the wrong road won't produce the best outcomes. Hi, I'm Kathy with Baker Mortgage, and we want you to take the right path when it comes to your mortgage. You know, we live in a world of information overload, but always consider the source. And these are not generally going to be from your big bank or a random offer that comes across your screen. Remember, you're always going to get a better deal on one that you go looking for than one that comes looking for you. You need to deal with somebody who gives a you-know-what, whether or not you're happy in the end. At Baker Mortgage, we do it right. We haven't been around for 68 years because we're lucky. We don't sell CDs, insurance, or anything else. We just provide a great mortgage experience. Isn't that what you're looking for? Call us at Baker Mortgage. I promise you'll be glad you did. We're at 281-313-MOVE or go directly to bakermortgage.com.
Equal housing lender. License number 263213.
This is Kevin O'Hara with O'Hara & Company Real Estate. Our country's founding fathers drafted a document that is the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their powers from the consent of the governed. My friends at O'Hara & Company Real Estate, we believe we're at a precipice in time where we must take back our country. We must stand up for our freedoms or lose them forever. Please don't sit idle and let it slip away. Don't let anyone force you to do something you choose not to. As JFK said, if not us, who? If not now, when? If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, give O'Hara & Company Real Estate a call at 281-373-3393, 281-373-3393, or look us up on the web at o'harare.com. I'm Kevin O'Hara. God bless America, and God bless Texas.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast!
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-566-3062. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-566-3062. That's 800-566-3062. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Graham, are you a history buff? How did you know how to know that your tattoo was related to Nazis?
Come on, Graham.
No response, Graham?
Nothing.
Why was keeping a Nazi a tattoo more important to you than being a Marine?
Oh, wow.
Nothing at all? A little close there, fella.
A little close there, pal. A bit much is what his people say to him as this guy is trying to interview Graham Plattner. If you don't know who that is, by the way, Radio Craig C here, the Craig Collins Show, at Radio Craig C on social media. If you want to find me, we do live stream on a lot of it. KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas, as far as the radio station goes. But Graham Plattner, who is running for the Senate in Maine, is the moron who had the Nazi tattoo on him for quite some time. He was recently asked questions by somebody who considers himself an independent journalist, which everybody is. You are. If you're listening to the show right now, you are capable of being the next Nick Shirley. You have to show up and ask questions somewhere with a thing recording, which by and large might be annoying in society, but could occasionally bear a lot of wonderful fruit. And I just love this, that they get in his face like, whoa, a little close, buddy. He's not that close at all. There's a certain amount of distance, a comfortable amount of distance between Graham and this guy holding the camera, asking questions. It's like the comfortable bathroom distance. The two guys go in and pick urinals far enough apart from each other. That's what this is. This is totally fine. There's no issue here whatsoever, and yet people want to go that road because Graham doesn't want to answer these questions. He doesn't want to have this discussion at all. He doesn't want anyone around him. And this is what I love about mainstream media. Not mainstream, independent media, is the ability for us to do the stuff that the other places won't do. The ability to be in front of people, to be asking questions that other people shy away from. It's important to get the actual information that people want, and it doesn't matter who you are anymore. If you can get that information, eyeballs will go to it. They will pay attention. All right, I want to play something else. I like to do what I call a quick four-ish. It's not a quick five, which is Dana Lash's thing. I stole it from her, so I do a quick four-ish version of it. But it's silly stuff. It's not serious stuff. It's a palate cleanser. And I love this audio. This is viral audio of a British call of a horse race, which is not something you're going to hear a lot of places. The British announcer has noticed that a horse by the name of Snow Dragon has shot its jockey off of itself. So it's now a jockeyless horse. I guess that's called unseating the jockey. And then it dive tackles the other horses. You would think that this is like the best day of your life as a horse race play-by-play guy. Like you'd think you were just gifted the Mona Lisa of your situation, the Super Bowl of your moment, and the lack of enthusiasm till the very end is so disappointing to me. But here, I want to play this audio. UK announcer talking about a horse race gone bad, just not hitting it the way that I think a U.S. announcer would have done it.
The very early part of the race. Now here is the first, and Snow Dragon has swerved left and is unseated. And a day forever had to hurdle Alan Doyle, who was on the ground. And now Snow Dragon is joining in and running around in front of the field. And it's utter chaos in the early part of the race. And Snow Dragon has taken out Romancia and has taken out For You Biz and has taken out A Day Forever. And all of a sudden there are only two left.
There's only two horses left in how that race went. So again, I want to set the stage one more time. A horse went crazy. He shot his jockey off of his back. He then left the race before re-entering the race to take all the other horses out. He became a kamikaze mission style thing. You could have done this so much better. I want to play a little bit of it again just because I like it so much, and I shouldn't like it because like, if this is what you're going to do in this situation, man, hang it up. Just stop.
After the race. Now here is the first, and Snow Dragon has swerved left and is unseated. And a day forever had to hurdle Alan Doyle, who was on the ground. And now Snow Dragon is joining in and running around in front of the field. And it's utter chaos in the early part of the race. And Snow Dragon has taken out Romancia and has taken out For You Biz and has taken out A Day Forever. And all of a sudden there are only two left.
I know that both of the rodeo announcer guys are better than this. They would do so much better if given this opportunity. I've been to the rodeo a lot. I'll take this second during my quick four-ish to shout out the rodeo one more time. I've had a great time covering it. I know some people that work here at the station have been like, dude, I've been to a bunch of rodeos. I've seen it. You take the press pass. You enjoy it this time because it's new for you. And it's not new for most people here in Houston. Most people have been to at least one, if not multiple. But the rodeo's been a blast. Everything, I love the way they cover it. I love the way that the announcers, work in and out throughout every single segment, the way the audience seems to be there for the actual rodeo and not necessarily the performer, the musician, the concert at the end of the night, even though a lot of them are wearing T-shirts, and it seems like the crowd fills up before the concert starts. I think Kelly Clarkson described it as the cherry on top of the rodeo, but it's just been awesome. And the rodeo people have been incredible in how kind they've been to me, and I just wanted to shout them out. And no issue whatsoever, like Lena Hidalgo. I don't get any shoot seats. I don't get to go down to the floor, and I don't seem to care about that at all. It doesn't matter to me. I'm at a thing for free in general. That's pretty great, and I thank them for it. And I 1 week left, and then I'll have gone to every day of the rodeo at Rodeo Houston 2026, which I'm kind of uniquely also proud of. Target is now planning to cut toys from the store entirely. Some people are calling this the death of the Toys R Us-like experience. If you're of a certain age, and I don't care exactly what that age is, because I think, by and large, change the name of the store. There's a store that you remember going to as a kid to get toys, whether it was your birthday, some sort of special event where someone's going to buy you something. The fact that that's going away, and now kids just get to shop these things online, it's just wrong. You need to do it the other way. You need to bring that back. We need to not have all these places get rid of this stuff. But Target's saying they don't make any money, that it's a strategic plan for them to get rid of even some of their electronic stuff that doesn't really sell in store because it's so much more valuable to buy it on the internet from someone or, who, to buy it from the Bezoses of the world instead of buying it there. It's just disappointing to me because I vividly remember at times in my life getting to walk into toy stores and thinking how cool it was that I'd get to pick something out. And you go through all the toys. Even if you don't actually want all the toys, you know exactly what you want. It doesn't matter. You get to window shop, and as a kid, that's pretty great. And unfortunately, not really the thing that more people are doing. All right, one last thing that I do want to play as far as the Quick Five stuff, and then we'll take a break. We'll come back, and we'll do some other things. Aaron Judge was robbed of a home run. I am definitely watching the World Baseball Classic. I don't know how many other people are watching it, but I'm definitely paying attention. And the United States is actually going to be playing in the championship game, which is happening in the very near future. Tonight, I think actually right after my show is over, so in about 13 minutes, the game between Italy and, I keep forgetting, Venezuela is starting. And whoever wins that game plays in the finals against the United States. This was a way better thing to choose to watch than the Oscars last night. I figured since I'm in Houston, since obviously most people who listen to the show, I assume, are Astros fans, even though Team USA gets a home run robbed here, they did go on to win. So I'm figuring that a lot of people will enjoy hearing Aaron Judge robbed of a home run. So I just want to play that audio because it's not even truly counter-programming. It's just a better thing to watch on again tonight and then on again tomorrow. The United States will be playing for the championship. Japan, for the first time, didn't even make it to the semifinals, which I also thought was kind of amusing and funny for whatever reason. But here we go.
High drive center field. Rodriguez going back. Did he get enough? He did not! Because Julio scaled the wall! Almost to first base. Watch this. He knows he's got it pretty good. He's got the bat in his hand the whole time. So there's maybe just a little doubt, and then that eliminated it.
Yeah, Aaron Judge wasn't sure if that ball was going to get caught is what they're saying there, and it got caught, and it was pretty good. Man, I love baseball. I'm so excited that the MLB season will be starting very soon. It's great. To me, it's the best sport that we play here in this country. I know more people will watch the NFL. I watch the NFL too, but baseball is just great. And it's cool to see the United States actually getting very close to potentially winning the World Baseball Classic. 1 game left, and it might be against Italy, the only team to beat the United States so far. There might be a rematch that happens there. And Italy, out of nowhere, team this year in the World Baseball Classic. No one thought they'd be this good. They have mostly MLB players as well that are maybe of Italian descent, not necessarily people that are actually living in Italy right now. A lot of Americans that decided to play for a different team, but that have Italian heritage. So it might be interesting. If Venezuela does not defeat Italy tonight and their Cinderella story continues, the U.S. gets to have a rematch against them tomorrow. That, to me, is really enjoyable sports. And honestly, I'll say one last thing about the World Baseball Classic. No wokeness. This thing is very independent of the wokeness that exists in so many other ways in so many other parts of our society. All right, quick break, a lot more. This is the Craig Collins Show, KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas.
Spring deals are popping up early at Lowe's. Right now, get 4 bags of Stay Green 2 cubic foot mulch for just $10. Plus, save $20 on an Ego 56-volt string trimmer, now just $199. Spring starts better when you save early. Don't miss out. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 3/18. Mulch offer excludes Hawaii. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
Everyone knows the BBB is the Better Business Bureau, but depending on what you need, it's the Better Plumber Bureau, the Better Auto Mechanic Bureau, the Better Accountant Bureau. That's because the BBB connects people with businesses they can trust. So think of the BBB as the better check that business out first so you don't get ripped off bureau. Be smart. Always look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Plumbing emergencies never happen at a convenient time. Usually they happen on the weekends, holidays, or while you're away on vacation. I'm Richard Sod, president of Nick's Plumbing. When you find yourself facing a plumbing emergency, call the licensed and experienced professionals at Nick's Plumbing and Sewer Services. Nick's Plumbing has been Houston's first choice for all your plumbing needs since 1979. Our experts can take your most difficult plumbing issues and fix them fast, fix them right, and usually for less than you'd expect. Nick's Plumbing and Sewer Services is the right choice for any plumbing job, from a leaky faucet, whole house repipe, or a complete sewer line replacement. You can count on Nick's Plumbing to do the job right. With over 40 years in business and over 150,000 satisfied customers, Nick's wants to be your plumbing company. Nick's Plumbing offers free estimates and free second opinions. Call Nick's Plumbing and Sewer Services, 713-868-9907, or visit us on the web, nicksplumbing.com.
MPL 38548.
Call Nick's Plumbing today. We're on the way.
That's Mike. He took ZzzQuil Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZzzQuil Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Tell us if you have spoken with French President Macron about the coalition to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Have you been speaking with the French President?
What does that mean?
Have you been speaking with the French President Macron about the coalition to reopen the
I kind of love that he was struggling with the accent
Strait
here.
of Hormuz?
Yeah, I have spoken to him.
Yeah.
He's been on a scale of 0 to 10. I'd say he's been an 8. Not perfect, but it's France.
Are you
we don't expect perfect.
I think that's awesome. This is the Craig Collins Show, KSEV, KGBC, the voice of Texas. And that's the president talking about his relationship with France right now, with Emmanuel Macron. and all the different. I don't do that because I want to. I do that because I find it amusing that so many other people pretend to be of other descents when they say people's names and then go right back to whatever their native language is. The president also talked about the UK, so I want to play that audio too.
I think they'll be involved, yeah, maybe. But they should be involved enthusiastically. We've been protecting these countries for years with NATO, because NATO is us. You can ask Putin. Putin fears us. He has no fear of Europe whatsoever. He fears the United States of America and the military that was built by me in the first term. Yeah.
All right, I'll stop it there. So that, to me, was one of the more important things that President Trump said. And here's the way I want to kind of cap this, because I'm not going to play any of the audio. I have it. Maybe I'll play some tomorrow. Megyn Kelly, Mark Levin, anyone that's the faces of this discussion right now. I intend to play it, just not today. That's the whole game. This is the best way that I can demonstrate to you the value of the fight between the United States and Iran, with or without the involvement of Israel. You can say that Israel pushed the United States into this, that they asked for this, that they would want this. And of course, I'll heavily agree the last one is true. They definitely would want this as far as the United States fighting a fight that Israel has been fighting for a long time. But you can't be the toughest guy on the playground and be respected as the toughest guy in the playground if you never use your ability to beat everybody else up. If you never do the thing that people say you're capable of, you become a paper tiger. And the United States, by and large, sadly to say, in a lot of these conflicts in a lot of places throughout the world, has allowed itself to be a paper tiger. Some people will tell you that that's strength, but other people will say, day to day, the stuff going on in these other places, these places where we'd like things to not be happening anymore, where we'd like bad behavior from our purview to not be a thing that people are comfortable doing, whoever it might be. I always use the example of Russia and Ukraine, but there's a lot of them. We need that to stop. We need to influence that to stop. We need to behave in a way occasionally where we demonstrate a willingness to do things. We don't need to do it all the time. A neocon would tell you that we need to be involved first and all the time in everything going on in the world and be the world police. No, we don't need to do that, but we can't punch never. And so I think this was a calculated decision. The removing of a dictator from a country who wasn't actually thought of as a leader, and then moving on to Iran and doing what we're doing there. This is saying to the world, we're not just going to sit down. We're not just going to back down. If we think it's appropriate, we will act. And that is something that Putin has done. I'm not praising him in saying this. I think that Vladimir Putin has done a lot of really bad stuff, and I think attacking Ukraine was one of those things. But Trump is right when he says that Putin doesn't fear Europe, that he doesn't fear anyone around him because they're all paper tigers. They're all unwilling to act and willing to do any of the things they might say out loud they're going to do. Everything is a threat of words and only a threat of words. And if there's one person, one individual out there that I think a Vladimir Putin actually respects in a way that benefits our country, it's us. And it's because of Trump. It's because he's willing to act. He's willing to do things that no one else is willing to do. President Trump said that, too, about this ongoing conflict with Iran. He said that multiple presidents thought it was a good idea. Multiple presidents said we should do this. We should act in this way. We should demonstrate our, superiority and our willingness to behave accordingly if you mess with us, if you declare war on us like Iran has been doing for years and years and years. You need to be taught a lesson eventually in order to sit down and shut up. That's a real thing. That's an accurate thing and an accurate way to say it. And Trump was the only one willing to do it. And he's willing to do it even as attacks come in from his own side. And even as I think, and they say this a lot, and this is how I'll end this discussion, a lot of the people on the right who are fans of this, fans of the fight with Iran, what you hear from other people is, well, go ahead and send your kids. If you think it's right, tell your kids to sign up to be military. Tell your kids to go fight in this conflict. Tell your kids that they could be potentially lost in this, fight. And I'll say something. I don't have any kids, but I'll say something about that idea. I would have been honored if I had raised a child that wanted to be military because of how incredible that sacrifice is, regardless of what you're asked to do, regardless of what situation you're put in. the willingness to be there is incredible. So I bet the people who are being yelled at this, like, go ahead and put your kids into the conflict, would actually, by and large, say that they'd be honored if their children did choose to be military. They don't want their kids to die. No one wants your family members to die, but that sacrifices the whole point of the military. That's the whole reason that these are human beings who are also heroes in our society for their willingness to do this. But I'd reverse that statement. I'd say to all the people who are the talking heads that are against all this, how willing are you to be someone to step up and fight? I imagine zero. And I imagine you're actually proud that your position is, zero chance I would go, or anyone I know would go, or I'd support my own family going. And how horrible is that, in all honesty? How important is it to be someone who would encourage your kid, if your kid was willing to make a sacrifice like that, to be a person that's that heroic, and not a person that would be essentially told you're not allowed to do that? How important is it in our society to have people that are willing to make that sacrifice and family members willing to support them? I imagine the people who'd be proud to say, I wouldn't want my family to do that, are the people who don't understand the importance and value and sacrifice of military at all. They are the true cowards, in my opinion. All right, that's the show. That's it. We're out of here. Thanks, as always, for being a part of it. Back tomorrow, The Craig Collins Show, Monday through Friday. The Voice of Texas, KSEV, KGBC. See you tomorrow.
You're listening to the Voice of Texas, AM 700 KSEV Tomball,